Wait, we're live.
We are live. Hey, this is awesome. Oh, Blag. Okay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thanks. You?
Yeah, really cool. It's Friday. I'm really excited about a summer weekend, and
Mhm.
I actually just came back from a preschool graduation, so I'm just kind of like, I don't know,
Congratulations.
I'm feeling some pretty good vibes. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I hope it's the same for you.
Well,
Let's
if I
why
don't
don't we
say
just
it
jump straight
today.
into it? For everyone watching, hey, I'm Ash. I'm Director of Developer Relations for Nylas. This is yet another one of our sort of pilot streams, right? We're just kind of testing the waters out on just jumping on and showing you really cool stuff that you can do with Nylas. So, and I'm joined here by Blag. You want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Blag. I'm a senior developer advocate here at Nylas.
Cool. All right. So today we're here to talk about command line interfaces or CLI. So I want to say that a couple of times so I don't have to remember to say command line interface over and over again.
Mm.
So we're talking command line interfaces. The short way to say that is CLI. Some
Mhm.
folks call them CLIs. Either way is fine. You'll hear me say CLI throughout the stream.
Mhm.
And so we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff that Blag did to partner with a company called Fig. And we'll get into the details of that in a minute. But why don't we get started by just talking about, okay, great, Nyla CLI, what is it? Why should I care? How does it work?
Okay, so pretty much the CLI of the command line interface, it's a terminal tool that allows you to access Nylas APIs in a very easy way. It's very practical. We do have SDK, so you can create the same using Python or Node. But the advantage of the CLI is that you just need your terminal screen, and from there you can do whatever you want. So let me share my screen, and let's demonstrate quickly how that works. So here on my terminal, I just need to go Nylas API, and for example, I can say messages. I want the ones that I have in my inbox, and I want to limit the amount of messages to 3 because otherwise I'm gonna get like the first 100. So just click. Oh, and I have a mistake. So
Looks
I
like you just got that extra underscore there, right?
yeah, I think so. Let me check. Actually, we can use help to actually get all the parameters that we need. So we
Nice.
can see here that we actually need a get. So I forget the get. So it's Nylas API messages get, and then need the in without the dash. That's right. I think the dash is actually on the SDK. That's why I'm confused. So inbox and then limit and then 3. So Nylas API messages get where we want to read the inbox and we want to limit it to 3. We hit enter and boom. We are reading the first 3 messages of our inbox. Of course, this is going to look kind of weird because there might be some images or documents inside that.
Yeah,
But
and
then you can see
oftentimes
there.
marketing messages or just any message really can be also written in HTML, and so you're going to
Mhm.
get whatever that raw text is in the response.
Exactly. But as you can see, we can access our mailbox pretty easily. Or for example, we can also say Nylas API calendars get. So we're gonna get a list of all our calendars. And let's say, for example, that we want our Nylas calendar, which should be this one. So I grab the ID and I can say Nylas API events get calendar ID. So I just want the events that belong to that particular calendar. So I press enter. Here I get all the events that I have for my Nylas calendar.
which are quite a few. So,
yes.
if people want to refer to another stream that we did a couple of days ago, they can check it out. Like, how would you actually, go through the process of like filtering, in terms of like what time range are you looking for? Because otherwise you may get years worth of events in one API call.
Yes, exactly. And you, as you can see here, we have a start time, end time, so we can do a lot of filtering and actually get what we need. But that's not all. I mean, if we go Nyla CPI help, we're gonna see that we have a lot of commands available to us. So we can get to contacts, calendars, events, files, messages, use neural APIs, even webhooks. So there's a lot of that we can do here, but that you can see, it's kind of hard to remember. So it would be nice if we could have auto completion of some sort. So we started working with a company called Fig, which does exactly that. And Ash, do you have any example that you can show us?
Yeah, I thought before we jumped into the how we're using Fig to make our CLI at Nylas even easier to use, maybe we'd start with something that maybe a lot more folks might have familiarity with because maybe they've tried it before. And so when we were kind of chatting about this a second ago, I thought, well, what are all developers working with on the command line all the time? And of course, immediately we think Git and GitHub oftentimes as well. So I thought maybe we'd just kind of start by just showing you a little bit of the cool stuff that autocompletes can get you. Because look, we've all been in that situation, right? Where it's like, let's just use Git as an example. There are going to be certain Git incantations that I've probably done them 50 times, but that's over the course of 10 years, and sometimes it's tough to sort of just like pull that straight out of my head. So instead, having some autocompletes is great, and so Fig makes that really nice to do. And I just wanted to show something. I think in this case I'm actually going to show off not the Git command line tool, but the GitHub command line tool, because I thought there's some really smart stuff that's happening in there. So let me just share my screen.
Sure.
All right, here we go. So we've got right here, this is my terminal open, and might make the text just slightly bigger. Cool. So what we're going to do is just kind of start by, I'll just mention first off that I have the GitHub command line interface, or CLI, aliased to GH. So if I type in GH, this is what I'm going to get. It just shows me the help, right? Now, Git and GitHub have a gajillion things you can do with them, and memorizing all of that in the command line, like, I don't know. I think my mind is better put to use for other things besides this sort of memorization. So it's great if I have a tool that can help me with this. So here's what we can do, right? Let's say, for example, in the GitHub command line interface, we would start by doing something like this. Now, look, I hit space. All that stuff is Fig, right? This is super cool to me. So let's just say we want to do, like, I don't know, maybe I'll try doing like a clone. So I'll do GitHub, GH repo, and then look at that. Clone is like pops right up to the top. So I'm gonna use that.
And it even gives you a description, which is awesome. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's super cool. It gives you a description. And I wanted to point this out, actually. Sorry, like really, you pushed on something that I was just getting excited about a second ago. But like, so this GitHub repo clone, and then I can start typing things in, right? You can see, for example, like, well, we have this SDK playground that's like behind lock and key at the moment. So forget that that's there. For now, but then there's this other one, right? This is one of our GitHub samples, right? So we have this Nylas-samples organization on GitHub that like just has a whole bunch of stuff in Python, Ruby, and Node. How could I forget Node? It's right here in front of me. So this is a sample that I happen to have pushed, and the interesting thing is that it pulls in that description from GitHub. So, but before we even get there, we should notice that dynamically Fig is pulling in like a whole list of stuff, in the form of autocompletes that then I can go through and like choose from the many repositories. So if I were to hit enter on this line, it would then clone the repo for me. One other cool thing that I wanted to show off, and this is just kind of like a sort of general helpful tip if you're using the CLI, is so for GitHub, frequently you might be in the command line and you're like, well, I need to go check out the repo on the web. Like that happens to me a lot. It happened to me so much that I used to like write my own bash script to make that possible. But you know, me writing my own bash script to do something like this is never going to be as good as like the power of like you know, GitHub kind of making their own CLI, which they did a really cool job with. However, remembering that incantation again, it happens every few weeks where I might want to do this maneuver. And so like having something simple where I don't have to try to commit this to memory is really nice. So what we can do is you start with this, you know, GitHub repo, and you can find this command called view. And what's really nice again about having these Fig autocompletes right here is I can just like hit this. So that reminds me that if I want to view it on the web as opposed to like viewing it, you know, somewhere else, maybe just in the command line, looking at the metadata or whatever it might be. If I just want to go to the GitHub UI in my browser, well, I can just do that. Now I'm not in a Git repository right now, so it's going to yell at me. But let's just say, let me go into something here. I'm not sure. I'm going to just try this once with docs and see if that launches the browser for me. So we'll go back to that previous command that I wrote. So it's GitHub repo view and then -w for open it in your browser or on the web is I believe what that's short for. So if I hit enter here, it says it's opening up in my browser. And there we go.
That's awesome.
So this is really nice. And again, like if you start to try to commit it to memory over time, like I might be kind of like overstating like how hard it is to remember a command like that. But you know, honestly, sometimes I just don't remember that stuff. Having the autocompletes really helps. So
yeah, totally.
This was just kind of by way of example, something that folks might be familiar with, which is the GitHub command line tool. You know, and then if you couple that with something like Fig, you get these really sweet autocompletes. So over the last few weeks, Blag has been working directly with Fig to make this same experience possible in terms of convenience in the context of the Nyla CLI. So what we're going to do is switch over to that now. And Blag's going to walk you through some cool stuff that you can do with that.
Yeah, before that, just let me share real quick. This is the URL if you want to go and download the Nyla CLI. And this one is for Fig, which is pretty easy. It's Fig.io. You just can install it. So you install the CLI, you install Fig, and you're going to see how it looks like when I share my screen, which is pretty amazing. So here, just going to clean this up. Remember, I needed to type Nylas API, etc. Now I can just say Nylas, and then boom, I have autocompletion. So I have everything. Here I can select API, which I'm going to access the Nylas API endpoints. Then I can go here and say, for example, look for messages. Get, which I forgot the first time. And here I also have limit, which I use. And also right here should be the in, which I use for inbox. And limit, let's say to 3. I hit enter. And it's going to do exactly the same, but this time it's going to be easier, faster, and everything. So I can do that with any other command. So for example, I can go, let's say contacts, for example. So I get here get, delete. And actually, for example, if I don't know what post does, here I have a little description, create a contact, picture commands, get, and everything. So it's make it really, really easy. And something that I want to point out that doesn't exactly come with Fig, but I found it thanks to Fig. It's the most awesome way to clean up your terminal window, which is typing wipe clean, and check this out.
Oh,
it's pretty cool. I love it. And I found that on the Fig website, and I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, you demoed this to the developer relations team a week or two ago, and you did that. I just remember saying, okay, Wow, Blag, now you're just showing off. Like, you know, but that's really cool, right? That little sort of like the fanciest way to wipe your terminal clean is built right
Yeah.
in Fig.
And as I was saying, you just need to download the Nyla CLI, then download and install Fig, and it's going to be ready to go. You don't need to do anything else. You're going to have auto completion, and you're going to be able to do everything with your CLI.
Well, that's really cool. And, you know, I can't wait to just kind of like start seeing what people can do with the CLI now that it's a lot, you know, even more accessible. Again, like, doesn't matter what CLI it is, whether it's a Unix command or something else, like remembering all of those various flags and, you know, subcommands and everything else is always a challenge for folks. So hopefully this makes it easier for people. And certainly it makes it almost, dare I say, fun. I have a lot of fun now in my terminal now that I can just like kind of browse through. And I found that it's more likely for me to discover new things that I can do with the Nyla CLI simply because like I just have a list of stuff right there in the context of what I'm already doing.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, let me kind of show that pretty quick because I think it's amazing. So, for example, if I do touch, it's gonna show me my folders. So I go like, okay, download, and I can put a name like I don't know, hello.txt. But then if I go all the way to the bottom, I have some things that I didn't even knew existed, like change the access time of the file, access the access and modification timestamp, attempt to first update. So there's a lot of letters that I have never used. Never crossed my mind to use them, but now I know they're there. So I know that for every single command that I type, like rm to remove, there's gonna be something there hiding that now it's available thanks to Fig, which is amazing. So it's
really
just
cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Blag. Well, thanks for walking us through this today. I think, you know, perhaps in a future stream, we might talk a little bit about like how you worked with Fig to get that stuff into place. Because my guess is just in general, folks who ship their own CLIs might be interested in kind of learning a little bit about like how they can bake this kind of magic into what they're offering too.
Yeah, because that really accelerates your workflow. You don't need to remember every single command, so it makes it way easier to do your work. It's amazing.
Cool. All right. Well, you know, if you're building applications and you want to build, you know, features with email, calendar, and contacts right into the application, definitely check out Nylas. If you head over to developer.nylas.com, you'll be able to sign up for a free trial. And if you do, absolutely make sure to check out that CLI on your way and install Fig. It's a great companion for the Nyla CLI.
Actually, before I go,
what else?
Quickly, I wrote actually a blog post talking about this new integration between Nyla CLI and Fig. So there you go. Just go to nylas.com blog and you're gonna find the blog post.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I forgot because you just shipped that this morning, but I think it's like gonna be super interesting, easy, you know, an easy walkthrough of like how people can get started with this collaboration.
Yep, cool.
Cool, so, Blag, thanks. This is an awesome, awesome initiative, and really excited to get it out into the world.
Thanks, cool.
Happy Friday. Bye, everybody.